It's one of the great mysteries of prehistoric cave art. The pigments that early humans used to create their paintings some 40,000 years ago, how did they make those colors last so long? A new study says it may have a lot to do with the type of clay they had on hand, not just for the color, but also for its staying power. The reason this question is important is because these pigments are some of the oldest examples of human expression we have. They're also some of the most worn. Over tens of thousands of years, visitors to these caves have ground down the colors, turning them into a fine powder. So scientists are eager to understand how these pigments were made, and what we can do to preserve them for future generations. For this new study, researchers turned to a famous prehistoric site in Spain's El Castillo cave. There, over a period of about 20,000 years, starting around 36,000 years ago, people made thousands of paintings of animals like deer and bison. The pigment that they used for these paintings was a bright red ochre, which is made from iron oxide. And the researchers wanted to figure out if the clay that made up the cave walls played a role in creating this pigment. To do that, they went to a nearby quarry where the clay for the cave's construction came from. They collected samples of the clay and of the red ochre that had been used in the paintings. Then they analyzed both samples to see if there were any differences between them. What they found was that the clay contained tiny crystals of another mineral called goethite. Goethite is known to form in the presence of organic acids, which could have come from things like decaying plants or animal dung. And when the researchers heated a sample of the clay, they found that some of the goethite turned into which is the same compound that makes up the red ochre pigment. Based on this evidence, the researchers hypothesized that the organic acids in the clay helped turn iron oxide into the red ochre pigment. To test this, they mixed powdered clay with water and then filtered the liquid through a cloth to remove any solid matter. Then they let the liquid evaporate, and it left behind a reddish residue. That looked a lot like the ochre pigment found in the cave paintings. Not only that, but this pigment was also incredibly durable. When the researchers heated it, it turned a similar shade of red as the original ochre pigment. And just like the prehistoric pigment, it also resisted grinding. The results suggest that the production of red ochre was a kind of ancient alchemy, a recipe that prehistoric people discovered by accident and then shared with each other across Europe. This knowledge would have been useful because red ochre has a number of purposes beyond art. For example, it can be used as a pigment for tattoos and body paint. It was also used in rituals and may have even been an early form of currency. The study was recently published in the journal Scientific Reports.